What's happening, idiots and boys? My name is KotyTang. Starting episode 3 with a quick flashback to before Green Hill Zone was taken over by the Chaos Council. Just after Sonic got done fighting Shadow, Knuckles, Amy, Rouge, and Tails are fighting the Badniks. Alright guys, this is my final mention of this, but I just need to absolutely solidify this because for some reason people still think it's just an Easter egg or a gag, believing episode 1 is the only time the rings ever show up. Knuckles literally asks,
"Where's Sonic? How long does it take to collect rings?"
And then Sonic finishes up collecting rings after fooling Shadow into believing Eggman was behind him.
Hate to hit and run, but I got a split, Shadow.
They showed up repeatedly and were referenced in episode 1.
Not used to all these walls. And where are my rings? But first, just in case Eggman gets in a lucky shot, rings!
They were referenced and showed up repeatedly in episode 2.
You literally shook the world!
That's 'cause I'm good. And powerful, apparently.
And now in episode 3, the rings are once again referenced and show up again. Rings are not an Easter egg. This is not a gag. This is not a reference. This is being presented as a fact inside of the canon. Sonic is invincible as long as he has rings. It is no longer just a gameplay mechanic. This is supposed to be presented as actual fact in this allegedly canon universe. So Sonic tricks Shadow into believing Eggman is behind him. Shadow turns around, giving Sonic an opening to knock Shadow away, and he runs off. Shadow quickly gets out of the rocks he was trapped under and chases after Sonic, who is heading up the mountain. Flash forward to now, Rusty Rose is about to hit Sonic, but Nine successfully hacks into her programming, which brings Rusty Rose into Sonic's crew. Thanks to Rusty's advanced technology, she's able to quickly dispatch all of the incoming robots, and she closes the door, preventing more reinforcements. Sonic tries to celebrate with the crew, but they don't really know him as it's an alternate universe. So Sonic introduces everybody to each other, which goes about as well as you could expect, with everybody correcting Sonic, saying their names either incorrectly or explaining their backstories entirely wrong. Sonic plans to get his friends to be, well, friends again. The robots start opening the doors, and Nine hacks into the Chaos Council's computer by, shooting at their security cameras, which apparently hacks all of the security cameras. So Mr. Dr. Eggman overrides the Badnik cameras and orders Dr. Deep to apprehend Sonic and everyone else. The crew is chased by Badniks all over the base, prompting Knuckles to order everybody to escape, but Nine suggests taking the energy crystal, which would shut down the whole city. Sonic realizes that Nine might be talking about the Paradox Prism, so Sonic agrees with Nine about obtaining the energy crystal, and the team head toward that instead of escaping. Sonic is attacked by Dr. Deep as he free falls down the stairs. The crew continue easily dispatching the Badniks as Sonic fights Dr. Deep and eventually defeats him. Mr. Dr. Eggman diverts more of the crystal's energy to the robots, which results in the gang getting completely demolished by the robots. Somehow, even with her extremely advanced technology that allows her to stretch indefinitely and do some kind of robot acrobatics, Rusty Rose can't compete with the Badniks. Rusty Rose is also conveniently only powered by the only Flicky in the universe rather than the crystal. So I guess that's why Eggman can't just shut her off? I guess that's how that works? So the team can no longer dispatch the robots through dodging and one-shotting them, right? The robots have become so strong that they easily defeat the crew. It doesn't matter who they're fighting, they manhandle each of them. So Sonic's solution is that he teaches Knuckles and Nine how to spin dash. by throwing them. While being a nice detail, through this, the three defeat every single badnik with ease, leaving only about 3 left that Rusty, Rose, Rouge, and Sonic take down, ending the fight. So not 2 seconds before that, the crew was being obliterated because the robots were too fast and too powerful. So Sonic Prime is trying to say that Sonic's homing attack and spin dash are the single most powerful moves in the entire universe. Nothing can compete with these 2 abilities, and it's the only reason that Sonic is able to defeat everybody without a problem. I'm sure that ridiculous display of power will be used all the time, won't it? The writers definitely aren't going to just act like they didn't just do that. Sonic's shoes start lighting up, indicating that New York City's energy source is nearby. Dr. Deep realizes that the crew are headed toward the energy crystal and commands the badniks to go after them. Sonic is, of course, able to defeat the now powered up badniks, as well as Dr. Deep, and then Dr. Babble arrives. 9 is attempting to hack into the energy crystal's room, but requests more time. Sonic forces Dr. Babble to chase him into the city, and the rest of the gang fights badniks off, while 9 continues to hack into the door. Sonic is able to dispatch Dr. Babble's forces with ease. An explosion is heard at the top of Eggman's base, and Sonic experiences deja vu as he essentially remembers that his fight with Shadow also ended with an explosion from atop a very tall structure. As Sonic runs back to the Chaos Council's base, Sonic continues experiencing deja vu, matching what he sees with how the events played out in Green Hill, as though history is repeating itself, but in another dimension. These flashbacks continue all the way up to the point that Sonic reunites with his friends. 9 successfully hacks the door, and as they walk in, Mr. Dr. Eggman grabs Rouge, Rusty, and Knuckles. The 3 begin to battle Eggman. 9 and Rouge tell Sonic to take the energy crystal. Upon reaching this crystal, Sonic realizes that the prism is only a piece of its actual self, although Sonic figures that the energy crystal isn't the Paradox Prism at all, because of how small it is. But then, Sonic fully remembers what happened during the initial fight with Eggman in Green Hill over the Paradox Prism. That's right, it took until now, just now, for Sonic to realize that he's in an alternate universe rather than just believing that Eggman has taken over Green Hill Zone. How Sonic is so stupid to not realize this when it's apparent that every single person he knew has absolutely no idea who he even is, and their backstories have changed entirely, including Eggman. I don't know how that's possible, but that's apparently how stupid Sonic is now. Sonic comes to terms with the fact that the dimension splitting is his fault. 9 tells Sonic to grab the prism, and after doing so, Sonic is consumed by the crystal, ending the episode. Some things to note about the episode. There are a few references to actual abilities that we don't really get to see Sonic do outside of gameplay, and even an extra one from the Sonic movie. They show the spin dash and the homing attack, but most importantly, Sonic's slow-mo level of speed. Sonic's slow-mo maneuver here is done so much better than the live-action movies do it. It's no longer a complete stop of time, it's a much more believable sense of speed. See, Sonic having to pay attention to dodging these lasers as he comes up with a plan, and the fact that the characters can even visually see Sonic moving around immediately makes this scene that much better. It's an important detail, and the reason for that is because Sonic being so disgustingly fast that time itself completely halts makes no sense. If Sonic can just stop time and go so fast that he is literally invincible to the point that he can grab onto things that explode on impact and redirect them at each other, then he has absolutely no reason to not do it all the time, and would essentially never be hurt ever, because he literally goes so fast that you cannot even tell he moved at all. It's a dumbass point in the movie, and makes every fight Sonic has in it stupid, because the entire time I'm thinking, why is Sonic letting himself lose here when he can literally just stop time? In Sonic Prime, the slow-mo is more so a view into how fast Sonic performs actions while in stressful scenarios, and it's a true visual representation of how fast he's able to do these things. Obviously, Sonic doesn't see life in slow motion, but by displaying his speed like this, against the motion of the characters and the lasers, we actually get a sense of that exact speed that he may be going. The same idea can be applied to any time Sonic is fighting. We can think back and apply this scene and imagine it into any scenario that Sonic incorporates high-speed combat. And we can recreate that same concept into our minds as we watch Sonic fight. It's a fantastic detail that Sonic Prime presents and doesn't work to destroy the immersion of a character's power. But, of course, this is also counteracted by Sonic being able to use the spin dash to dispatch hordes of badniks with no repercussions. So now, instead of asking why Sonic isn't just stopping time, I'll just be asking why Sonic isn't just spin dashing at the enemies. We finally establish a goal for Sonic to work toward in this episode. The Paradox Prism is much smaller than it's supposed to be, and that's because it's missing its sister pieces. It becomes apparent that in order to return the timeline back into order, Sonic is going to have to collect these prism shards and put them back together, and that is going to be the premise of the story. However, upon touching the Paradox Prism, Sonic actually didn't bring the crystal with him. It instead consumed him. So essentially, Sonic is going to need to figure out how to take these pieces into the other dimensions and assumedly put them back together. That's all the time I've got for you today. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and comment your thoughts below. And if you're so kind, subscribe to my channel for more Sonic content. My name is KotyTang, and I'll see you guys in the next one.